may I request all of you all to put off your noise-making devices or put them on silent mode. You have 30 seconds to do this. Drinking water is to my right on the table there, and is also available on the level below. There's a water fountain there. The restrooms are also located in the level below on the left. The mission of Toastmasters Club: we provide a positive and supportive learning experience in which members are empowered, develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. With this, I would like to invite our presiding officer for today, who is the VP Education of this club, Mr. Anand Kumar.
Thank you, Manish. So I declare the meeting number 207. Friends, prayers have powers. Do you agree? So prayers have created miracles, and there are a lot of stories which are documented, which have become world famous, and there are a lot that are known to the people living nearby. There is one such story which is documented in a book called The Miracles of Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. There was a young girl who lived in Japan, and she had lost her voice. She had some speech impediments and she could not speak. So, and she was a Buddhist follower. So one fine day in the temple, in the shrine, Buddha shrine, she was praying to Buddha. She lighted the candles, burned incense stick, and performed some rituals. And she asked Buddha to restore her voice. To everybody's surprise, she got her voice back. Psychologists analyzed later that what really happened. They found that when you ask God with 100% faith and 100% attention, you connect with yourself. And when you connect with yourself, the message from conscious mind gets transferred to subconscious mind. And once the subconscious mind accepts that message, it makes it real. So that is the power of subconscious mind. And there are two ways to convey to the subconscious mind. One, of course, you have faith in what you say, have 100% attention, connect with yourself, message easily gets transferred. That's why meditation is so popular, and people try to use visualization techniques to convey the message to subconscious mind. And there's another method which most of the people use because it's so difficult to connect with ourselves. Always the chatterbox is on inside our head, and that is keep on repeating. So when you keep on repeating certain message, it creates impressions on your brain cells. And when the impressions are created, then the subconscious mind accepts it and converts it into real. So I would urge all of you that whatever you do, give 100% attention to that and have complete faith in it, and you'll find that that gets converted into reality. And I think that's what we want, right? All right. So today we are going to induct 3 new members, and may I invite Sweta Parlikar, Kamal Vittal and Mohit Pandey on stage, please. So our collective obligation in the Toastmasters Club is to grow and improve ourselves and to share our knowledge and experience with fellow members. We ask you, our new members, to dedicate yourselves to personal growth, to share this gift with your fellow members and to help keep this Toastmasters Club strong and dynamic. Please raise your right hand and respond with I do. Yes, can you please raise your right hand? So at the end of the sentence, please say I do. Do you promise to attend club meetings regularly? To prepare all of your speech and leadership projects to the best of your ability, basing them on projects in the Toastmasters manual. To prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments. To provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations. To help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow. To serve your club as an officer when called upon to do so. To treat fellow club members and guests with respect and courtesy. To bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers. To adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters education and recognition programs. To maintain honest and highly ethical standards during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. Congratulations, you have now been formally inducted into Toastmasters. Can I request all members to stand up, please? Over the party. So you all three members also promised to give us a big party tonight. All members of this club, we raise say I do. Try to wait. All members of this club reiterate our commitment and promise to you to help you to learn and grow. Please take your seats. Thank you. We have a few solicitations to do today. So, last year as a PP membership, we have got, or he has got 2 awards. So these are, yeah, so anyway, already we had won the SEP award. Now this is for Beat the Clock award for adding 5 new members between May and June 2016. So let us help you welcome. Just stay back. Also, Toastmaster Manish has completed his competent leadership last year itself. So one big round of applause. We have one more member to felicitate. Can I request Sienna to come on the stage, please? Sienna has completed advanced leadership branch. How many guests do we have today? Can you have a show of hands? Very good. I will request a couple of you to come and share your here. Introduce yourself briefly. Who would like to come? Yeah, please. Yeah, just post your name, what do you do, and how do you come to know about Toastmasters? What do you expect?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Ronit Kokar. I stay in Andheri. I work in an e-commerce startup called attendees.com. We are insurance brokers and we provide motor and health insurance online to end customers as well as to intermediary people. One of my friends is in Indore Toastmasters Club, and he introduced me to this particular club, and he told me there's so much to learn in regards to public speaking. I've done a little bit of public speaking, but pertaining to my school events and college events, a little bit in my work time also. So yeah, I'm here to learn more. Thank you.
Has someone come from this side? Come.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ajit. So I'm staying in Juhu Arsawal I work in JDA with one of my friends. He is in Bangalore. So I got to know about Toastmaster. The Toastmaster helps people to enhance leadership skill, communication skill, helps to remove stage fears and all. So that's why I have come here to enhance my leadership skill. As you can see, still I'm so yeah.
You have come to the right place, Ajit. Yeah. Anybody, lady? Any lady would like to share something? Do we have guests from? All the guests are. Do we have lady? Only men. Okay. So we are not so fortunate. All right. So now let us make progress to our meeting. So it's time to invite the first role player of today's meeting and help me welcome Toastmaster Sachin, who is going to play the comedian role.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening to all of you. As a grammarian, my duty is to listen everything said during the meeting and to note and report any particular effective use of grammar or grammatically incorrect speech during the meeting. As a grammarian, it is my duty to present the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word of the day is tenacity. The meaning of tenacity, the quality or state of being persistent. For example, I am sure he will bring his commitment and tenacity as well as his passion for victory. So, all the role players and table topic speakers, including guests, are encouraged to use this word of the day during the speech. I will give a word of the day report and grammatical uses report when called upon during the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin. Now is the time to invite the guy who is going to take us throughout the meeting. And he is a very enthusiastic, dynamic, and cheerful Toastmasters. Whenever I see him, he is always smiling. The only time I think he did not smile is when he experienced about a ghost. He was in a hotel room and it was something like 2 a.m. to 30 a.m. and at that time he got a feeling that there is somebody inside who is invisible and he felt it is ghost and he did not remember Hanuman Chalisa also. He could get rid of the ghost. He's so enthusiastic that he said that I'm going to give this book to the best speaker of the day today. Contest is tough. So help me welcome Toastmaster Ram.
I'm glad
glad that Anand knows the ghost story so well. I hope he's not scared of ghosts. Muhammad Ali, the great boxing champion, said once, to be successful in life, we need to have two things. We need to have the skill and we need to have the will. One without the other is not going to do the job. But then he said, between the two, our will is slightly more important than the skill. He said, when I was fighting the championship bout, and when my opponent knocked me down, and I was lying on the floor, and referee was counting me out, it was not my skill that picked me up. It was my will that kept telling me, get up one more time. You need to get up one more time. Just get up one more time. It was my will that picked me up and not my skill. With this, one can say, all the success stories are the stories of the great failure. That means success is not measured how high you go up in life, but success is measured how many times you bounce back when you fail. And success is not measured how well you are doing against your competition, but success is measured how well you are doing with what you are capable of. That is success. You see, athletes, they continuously beat their own records. They don't compete with anyone else, they compete with their own performance. And that is something which is called discipline. Today's Toastmaster meeting will happen in 3 parts. The first segment is called prepared speeches, where speakers will deliver the speech based on the speech objective. Second segment is called table topics, where both members and guests can participate. And the third segment is called evaluation, where both evaluators can give the feedback, what they like about the speech and what are the areas of improvement. Evaluation sheets are kept in front of on the desk. Everybody has got the evaluation sheets. Anybody who has not got it? Evaluation sheets. I think here. You can evaluate the speaker and give your feedbacks in the break. To start with the proceedings of this meeting, I have few role players who are supporting me in performing today's meeting. I'd like to invite my first role player who is playing the role of an accountant. Please put your hands together for Toastmaster Venkatesh, who is playing.
Good evening. My duty as a accountant is to listen attentively to each speaker. Make a note of the following used by the speaker. The correct sounds are the filler words, but, like, so, okay. Filler phrases, you know, and so, and the last one is extremely long pauses. When called upon, my report will give an account of these speaking errors. Thank you.
My second role player who is playing the role of a timer. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Prashant.
Toastmasters and guests. As a timer, my duty is to time prepared speeches, table topic speeches, and speech evaluations during this meeting. When a speaker reaches the minimum time for the prepared speeches, the conditions are: when a speaker reaches the minimum time allotted, I will be displaying the green card. When the speaker reaches the midpoint of the time range allotted, I will display the yellow card. And when the speaker reaches the end of his allotted time, I will display the red card. The speaker has 30 seconds grace time before the green or after the red card is displayed to end the speech in order to qualify for the vote. I will report the qualifying time when called.
Do you believe in luck? Do you believe in luck with it? You know this guy called Mark Spitt? Mark Spitt won the 7 gold medals in 1972 in Munich. And when he won the 7 gold medals, press was
must be a lucky day. You won the 7 gold medals. He heard the comment and went up to him and said, let me tell you how lucky I am. He said in 1968, when the Olympics were held in Hong Kong, he won the 3 gold medals. He said, I was happy, but I was unhappy. From Hong Kong to Munich in 4 hours, he said, I am trained 10,000 hours. And then he said, if you are good in maths, if you translate, that converts into 8 hours per day, no Sundays. He said, you go and sit in water for next 4 years, 8 hours per day, your body will shift. He asked, did I get lucky? Luck is not designed to deliver this kind of results. There is a saying that too many crackpots keep waiting for the jackpots. And it doesn't work that way. When I asked my first speaker about his will, he said something very interesting. He said, people who have to achieve in life, they do it in spite of problem, not in absence of. The first speaker is Toastmaster Yuvraj. He is working with Citi Group as a stock market research. Before I invite Toastmaster Yuvraj, I request Toastmaster Parag to read the objectives of Project 1.
Thank you. The speaker attempting Project 1 from the CC manual, and the objectives are to begin speaking before an audience, to discover speaking skills you already have and the skills that need some attention. Timer, please note the timings are 4 to 6 minutes. Thank you.
Toastmaster Yuvraj is starting his Toastmaster journey. It's my greatest pleasure to welcome Toastmaster Yuvraj. His first speech, and the title is Who Am I? Who am I, Toastmaster Yuvraj?
Who am I? 1st June 1988 was the happiest day in my parents' life. Of course, I was born on that day. I was born in Bhavnagar, district in Gujarat. I'm not sure how many of you know about Bhavnagar, so there are a few people. Bhavnagar is famous for many things, at least I would like to think so. Mahatma Gandhi enrolled for a higher education in Bhavnagar at one point, but it did not continue later on because of his ill health. Bhavnagar also produces the atomic items like bhakri, thepla, gatia, like every other city, town and village in Gujarat. As a kid, I was very stubborn, rigid, and my parents used to get tired of handling me. So my smart Guju parents decided to do something about it. They sent me to a hostel. So initial days were very tough as expected, and I did realize that I had depended a lot on my parents, even for small things like waking up on time, getting ready, doing homework, or just simply complaining and nagging about small issues. So whenever I watched Tare Zameen Par, I could relate so much. I could see the emotional journey flashing in front of my eyes. But again, I will not deny the fact that just because of this one change, I became very strong and independent from a very early age. And which has of course helped me a lot. In my studies, soon after I became more sincere. I managed among the top in my school days, and MBA also I was top among top writers, so just a little bragging there. But once I was done with my studies, I started working with UBS in a market research profile. I've been doing so for close to 6 years now. I like what I do, but I do feel that I have a long way to go, and there's so much to learn before I can make a significant mark in whatever I do. As a person, I'm a social person. I like to make new friends, and I have a couple of friends whom I can rely 24/7. At least I would think that way. So, what I like in terms of my spare time is like, well, I do like to read. I make a sincere effort whenever I have time, I like to read something. And what I think is, it gives you a new perspective on many things, as many of you have already experienced. I like to travel because I think at holidays you get to see new places, and the thing is, well, there's got to see literally, I think. So, apart from that, well, I'm a good dancer, but the last thing can, of course, be verified. I would like to share one story. This was around May 2009, initial days of my MBA. I had just stepped out of Gujarat, and this was my accounting class. So, I was trying to answer to a question in a very usual manner, but that day something unusual happened. Everyone started laughing. So then the professor added more fuel to the fire, just by saying that for everyone it's a cost accounting, but for Yuvraj it's a post accounting. So for the first time in my life, on that day I realized that we could just have our own niche. So for us, it's not a laptop, it's a laptop. For us, it's not a movie hall, it's a movie hall. And not snacks, snakes, coffees, bows. And believe me, the worst thing that happens to you is when you try to flirt with a girl and something like this comes out. You are very good. Okay, then I realized, okay, boss, that I have to do something about it if I ever want to get rid of the situation. If I ever want to be the smart and pretty girl, then I need to do something about this. So I started taking help of my friends, non-Ju of course, and had a good pronunciation dictionary. It took me more than 2 years because honestly it was a journey of one word at a time. But some might have experienced the same thing. But yeah, so again, when I look back now, what I feel is I have managed to utilize my Ju accent to a large extent. Why I'm here at Toastmasters? Well, this is, to be honest, this is a really wonderful platform. And when you're encouraged to face your fears and, speak up. Other thing is, there are so many good speakers. I've been attending meetings, and what I've seen is there are very good speakers that even this club has, and from whom I can learn just by observing. As a wise person has said, that the journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. So I'm here to take my step-by-step journey in Toastmasters, and I'm really excited about it. Thank you so much.
Guests must be wondering why there was a standing ovation. Actually, as a Toastmaster culture, when the speaker completes his first speech, the standing ovation is given to the speaker. And even the people are so excited that even before I announcing it, so please take 30 seconds to give feedback to Toastmaster. In America, they say that bridges are built to bridge the gap between two people. And this is a story of 120 years old bridge. The bridge which is built by a paralyzed man and a housewife. A bridge built by a paralyzed man and a housewife. And story goes like this. In the olden days, when the technology was not so robust, workers have to enter the space to dig the sediment. And this has caused a lot of illness in the worker and a lot of workers have died. Their chief engineer have got sick and sick real bad. He got paralyzed. And for many years, the bridge construction work was stopped. Finally, government of America have decided to give this construction work to someone else. And at that point of time, his wife, who was a housewife, got into this particular project. She became the critical link between her husband and the workers. Her husband used to dictate, she used to take notes and go and explain the same thing to the workers on ground. For 11 long years, she worked on this particular project. And America got this one of the finest construction. That bridge is called Manhattan Bridge, which is on the East-West River. It has been said that this bridge is 10 times stronger than its construction, than it's supposed to be. It is 22 kilometers long. She was not having the greatest skill, but her will to help her husband to achieve his greatest dream, build this particular construction. My next speaker is Toastmaster Harshad Thakkar. And when I asked him about his will, he said, he is committed to be a coolest person in this world. So, before I invite Toastmaster Harshad, I request his evaluator to read the objectives of project to speech.
Toastmaster Harshad is attempting his project 2 from the competent communicator manual. The objectives of his speech are: select an appropriate outline which allows listeners to easily follow and understand your speech. Make your message clear with supporting material directly contributing to that message. Use appropriate transitions when moving from one idea to another. Create a strong opening and conclusion. The time is 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Harshad. His project to speech from the competent communication manual, and the title is Learning the Hard Way. Learning the Hard Way, Toastmaster Harshad.
Do we respond, react, or behave simply the way we have heard or learned from our role models, be it our parents, friends, or celebrities? I guess this is the time now for us to unlearn and relearn from someone we know. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. This evening, I would like to share with you my unlearning and relearning experiences. My 11-year-old genius once pointed a finger at his friend during the annual day in school. Before he could complain what he was about to say, I reprimanded him. Shailesh, it is a bad manners to point a finger at someone. When you point a finger at someone, 3 point back at you. Is this true? To my utter surprise, he opened his palm and pointed at the position. I could not lie, could not laugh. I was there speechless. All my life, I was living under the impression that 3 were pointing back at me, and she did give a different dimension to the thinking that I had carried for so long. I remember once having requested my parents to allow me to go watch a movie with my friends, and their immediate response was, sure, once you have grown up. I took that as a gospel truth and did not utter a word. During the recent summer vacation, Kshitij came and asked me, Daddy, my friends have decided to go watch a movie, Star Wars. I hope you will allow me to go with them. And my immediate response was the same what my parents had told me then. Great job. After some time, Kshitij switched on the television and started watching Shin Chan on Cartoon Network, much to my discomfort. I asked watching cartoon network, you say, I have grown up. When I were to go out with my friends to watch a movie, you say, I'm gone. Yes, how true. I thought Shikit was not enough to go with his friend and watch a movie. However, when he said he wants to watch television, I thought he was. I was just wanting to dictate my terms. Double standards. Isn't it? When I was in the standard 7, my daddy, most loving, was a pair of trousers of the color which he liked the most. And I was more than happy to receive that as a gift. Those days were few and far. But now, I love playing cricket, so bought a cricket bat for Shakir. He accepted it very happily and quickly unpacked it. After a few days, he came and asked, Daddy, when are you getting a football for me? I just bought a cricket bat for you. I did not ask for it. You bought it. I needed a football only. Wow. He has a bill. He was bold enough to tell me that he needed a football and not the cricket bat. Whereas I was living under the misguided impression that since I love playing cricket, he would enjoy cricket too. So as a rule, at home, now we listen to Shikit's ideas. We seek his active participation in the discussion and the decision-making process at home. Even if I have to go out on a tour, I inform him. So, my friends, times have changed. We need to listen and analyze our children's responses if we wish to learn from them. Please don't assume that they will do or have what you think is right. Remember, they have a mind of their own and they will do what they think is right. To quote Robin Sharma, children come to us more highly evolved than adults to teach us the lesson that we need to learn. Only if we allow them to share their views and we try to understand their viewpoints. So are you ready? Are you ready? Yes. Are you all ready? Yes. To learn from someone you love? Yes. Or wish to be? Till penny drops. Over to you.
Transformation. Things have changed. You actually missed the contest. You really missed the contest. Contest was full of prizes. We did not record. I forgot the tripod.
So let people who feel more shifted or
Aishwarya, let us see over there. You want to shift there? Sure? Okay, we'll start.
Olympic gold medalist wrestler was one day asked. Olympic gold medalist wrestler was one day asked, how did you become the champion? And he said, when I was practicing, I got so exhausted that I wanted to give up. But then I pictured what my opponent is doing. I see him still practicing, so I went back and practiced. And the point came where I wanted to give up again. But then I pictured what my opponent is doing. I see him still practicing. So I went back and practiced again. And the point came where I could not lift my body anymore. And I pictured he could not lift his body anymore either. I pictured him in shore, and guess what I did? I went back into more practice. He says, till now we were at par. This is my edge. Any coincidences is a winner? He has to be. Because winners put in that extra efforts even when it hurts. My next speaker is Toastmaster Chetna. And when I asked this question, how do you define will? She said, will and skill are the same sides of the coin. They go hand in hand. Toastmaster Chetna is graphicologist. I'm pronouncing it right because this is something I never pronounced properly. She's graphicologist and specializing in parent training. Before I invite her, I'll request her evaluator Toastmaster Mudit to read the objectives of Project 4 speech. Project B. Project B. Project B.
Objective of the Project 3 speech, get to the point. Select a speech topic and determine its general and specific purposes. Organize the speech in a manner that best achieves those purposes. Ensure the beginning, body and conclusion reinforce the purposes. Project sincerity and conviction, control any nervousness you may feel. Strive not to use notes. Time is 5 to 7 minutes. Wish you the best.
It's my greatest pleasure to welcome Toastmaster Chetna. Her speech title is Once Upon a Time There Lived a Lion in a Circus. Once upon a time there lived a lion in a circus. Toastmaster Chetna.
Yes, you're right, Rahul. Long, long ago, once upon a time, there lived a lion, but in a circus. Good evening, all. Have you ever been to a circus or watched it on television? You must have seen how ferocious lion dances to the tune of the human. The lion is so powerful that he can kill the human in no time. Yet, it is the lion who's scared of the human. Have you ever wondered why? It's because the lion does not know he's a lion. He has been instrumentally conditioned. What does that mean? Simply put, a positive reinforcement of a seemingly random behavior increases the likelihood of it happening again. Greek and random. Okay, let me give you an example. If you tell a funny story in a class and people laugh, you are likely to tell the story again in future. So when the lion cub is born in a circus, he sees his parents living in a cage, handle. The purpose of telling you all the story is, we all are like lions. Some are even herbivores. But what is important is that we can choose to be a jungle lion or a circus lion. I agree, the comfort zone takes us to the circus. But what is important at the end is, do we have the courage to be ourselves? No matter how scary it may be. And trust me, right now, when I am in the stage of being true to myself, it's very scary, but it's worth it. Mahatma Gandhi quoted, "Be the change you want to see in others." So when you talk about programming, which is what I wanted to share with you about the instrumental conditioning, it is so powerful that it can make or break a person. So a special message to parents on why to start early, because parents are the biggest programmers in the child's life. Why start early? Because it is easier to build strong children than repair broken men. And the day we live true to ourselves, and especially parents, if right from the beginning we are told, that whatever you do is good if you are true to yourself, then definitely there's no stopping. And the day we do that, I'm sure will be the day of pride. So I urge all of you all to be in your own way because jungle lions, unlike the circus lions, do not live to entertain others. They live to live for themselves. And it's so important in today's life. And that's why I feel that all of us should be true to ourselves, should see our own potential, and when we do that, we wouldn't need a ringmaster. Thank you.
Please take 30 seconds to give feedback to Chetna. Vaman was scared of flying, but one day he had to fly. Next to him was a beautiful lady, so he wanted to show how courageous he was. So he told lady, I fly almost every week. Look at the height what we have reached. People are looking like ants. And she said, you're right. We have still not taken off. And these are the real ants on the window of the flight. Our next speaker, she actually loves flying. Recently, she actually, a few years back, she saw this movie Chandni Chowk to China. And then she actually went from Chandni to China because she stays at Chandni. She went from Chandni to China. And not only she went over there, she made a humorous speech over there. And she came to India and delivered this humorous speech. And she was the winner of the humorous speech contest at a club level. It was like a picture. So she saw this movie Chandni Chowk to China. She went from Chandni to China. She prepared a humorous speech. She came back to India and delivered the humorous speech. And she became the winner also. So the speaker who we are talking about is Toastmaster Navita, who is attempting her Project 7 from the Competent Communication Manual. So before I call Toastmaster Navita, I'll request Muhammad Ali of the Toastmaster Pramod.
Thank you, Toastmasters Day, for that generous introduction. It does pack a punch. The speaker today will be attempting Project 7, Research Your Topic from the Competent Communication Manual. The objectives of this speech are to collect information
5 to 7 minutes. I'd like to wish the speaker all the best. Over to you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters. It gives me greatest pleasure to welcome Toastmaster Navita. Her Project 7 speech from the Competent Communication Manual, and the title is I Have the Power. I have the power, Toastmaster Navita.
Before I begin, I would request each and every one of us over here to just notice the way you're sitting. This is what I mainly see. So someone wise has said that you ask a woman if you may kiss her. Instead, learn to read her body language. I see some interest now. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and dear friends, good evening. Before we start reading the body language for such important issues, I think it is important to understand what is body language. Body language mainly includes facial expressions, tone of voice, your dress, your posture. Immense research has been undertaken to highlight the importance of a correct body language. Now, to make this more effective, today I'm going to highlight 3 such benefits. Firstly, body language is a very powerful tool of communication. Almost 80% of what you understand in a conversation is through your body, not your words. So next time you go in pursuit of a woman and she's standing like this, please understand she's not interested in you. But if she's standing like this, maybe she wants to be friends with you. And if she's standing like this, boy, you got lucky. Or perhaps she's hiding her belly fat. We never know. On a serious note, a 2009 paper published by the International Journal for Business and Management states that by correct body language, you can persuade, influence, make people at ease, create a sense of oneness and make friends. Isn't that too much? Secondly, a good body language also enhances your learning and your creativity. A university published a paper in 2016 which stated that it was the Stanford University, and it stated that in its virtual human interaction lab, it studied about 100 participants about their body language. And the result was that people with more upper body movement tended to learn a bit less than what others did. Secondly, participants who were working together in a project tended to be more creative if their upper body was more synchronized in their movement. So there we have the learning and the creativity. Apart from being a very powerful tool of communication, enhancing your learning and creativity, body language also reduces your level of stress and improves your level of confidence. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me highlight, stress is a very key concern in these days. The American Institute of Stress, yes, they have an institute for that, highlighted that 80% of employed people felt stress at their jobs. And over 50% of them said that they need some kind of help for it. to form a perception about us. And based on these perceptions, we take very important decisions, be it in our personal life or our professional lives. So why not use it to the advantage of our own benefit? How do we do that? In today's science, there are many methods that come up. But I would like to take this opportunity today and bring to your focus the importance of India's heritage, that is, yoga asanas. An online survey suggested that by practicing yoga for just 20 minutes a day, increased the self-confidence of about 74% of the participants. That means 3 out of 4 people. But if you do not have 20 minutes to spare in your day, the Harvard University provides a quicker solution. It says that by being aware of your body and consciously adopting high power poses such as what Superman does by standing like this, or what maybe Sachin Tendulkar does after making a century. Yes, I did it. And consciously avoiding low power poses such as slouching or closing your body inwards. And this has an impact on your thoughts and your feelings. It states that by adopting high power poses for just 2 minutes every day can improve your self-confidence. So next time, ladies and gentlemen, you want to boost your confidence, like I want you to do before this speech. Practice yoga or stand like a he-man and say to yourself, I have the power! And you never know where the lightning strikes.
Actually, before you give feedback to Toastmasters, Amita, I'd like to share something. Today when I was rehearsing my speech and I was saying that she went from Chandigarh to China, during that period, I also supposed to be in China. And my wife was listening and she said, I think you both went together. And very politely I said, I wish I could. So please take 30 seconds to give feedback to Toastmasters.
But when you reach to a certain level, for example, say top 10%,
When the person on the other side is equally talented or having more skills than what you have, talent or skill is the most useless word. You do not know what to do. And that is where your work ethic and attitude plays a very, very important role. When I asked my next speaker about her will, she very rightly said, if one has a strong will and determination, the person can achieve any skill. Next speaker is attempting her ACS 3 from the Advanced Communication Manual. And before I invite her, I request her evaluator to read the objectives of the speech.
Good evening, everyone. This evening, Toastmaster Sienna will be delivering a speech from the Entertaining Speakers Manual. The project is the entertaining speech, and the objectives, as the name aptly suggests, is to entertain the audience. And in the process, she has to use some kind of a personal story, which I'm sure she's got well stacked this evening. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech, and I do hope that we are in for some good entertainment this evening. Over to you.
It's my greatest pleasure to invite Toastmaster Sienna. She's attempting her first speech from the Advanced Communication Manual, and the speech title is The Prank. The Prank by Toastmaster Sienna.
How many of you have played a prank on someone? Okay, quite a few. So, Mr. Toastmaster today, fellow Toastmasters, and especially you pranksters. In my previous office, we were 3 friends, and we should have everything together. We were really close. So, we shared our tiffin boxes together, we shared our problems, but what we most enjoyed was playing pranks on each other. We played all kinds of pranks, from hiding each other's things, making fake phone calls, putting extra salt in the food when someone's away, and everything. We celebrated April Fool's Day almost all throughout the year. But there was a problem. Whenever my friends played a prank on me, I got pulled easily. But when I tried to play a prank on them, I always got caught. No matter how hard I tried, I always failed. And instead of making a fool of them, I ended up making a fool of myself. So that, though I did not have the skill to play a prank, being tenacious by nature, I definitely had the will to get back at them. she find out that I had my mobile, but there were no answers. I'm like, okay, let me go and see. With every step to the canteen, my anxiety increased. And finally, when I reached there, things were completely opposite to what I had expected. Rachel sat there, crying. And she cried so bitterly. And I have never seen her crying that way. I did not know what to do, and I did not know how to react. I just went and calmed her and told her, okay, stop crying. What happened? She said, I'm so sorry. I tried to play a prank on you, and I hid your cell phone. But now I can't find it anywhere. I just don't know what to do. Please forgive me. Wasting no time, I told her, stop crying. You haven't lost my phone. My phone is with me. She heaved a sigh of relief. Stop crying. And a long pause followed. After which, she uttered those words, which I can never forget. She said, don't ever talk to me hereafter. And this is the end of the friendship. After a few days, I kept telling her sorry and telling her that just forget what happened and let's get back. But she never agreed to it. I wondered, I finally managed to win a prank and lost a friend. At that moment, I realized that life can have unexpected twists and turns over which we have no control. But one question still haunts my mind and makes me think, was it destiny that this friendship had to end? Or would the friendship still remain if I hadn't played the prank? I still keep thinking.
Please take 30 seconds to give feedback to Toastmasters. I request Toastmaster Prashant to help me with the timing report. Suraj, 5 minutes 25 seconds. Prashant, Arshad, 5 minutes 20 seconds. Chaitra, 6 minutes 24 seconds. Namita, 6 minutes 48 seconds. And Sienna, 5 minutes 41 seconds. So all the prepared speakers are qualified. So thank you, Toastmasters. Voting ballots are kept on your desk, so you can vote for the best prepared speaker. Now we are coming to the second segment of this meeting. And before I call Toastmaster Qasim, I'll share something. There was an Indian man like Toastmaster Qasim who was traveling in an aeroplane with Albert Einstein next to him. Now Albert Einstein next to him, the stress levels were already on the higher side. So Albert Einstein said that let's play something like table topics, their question answer session. And he said, I'll ask you a question, and if you're not able to answer that question, you give me $10. And then you ask me a question, if I'm not able to answer, I'll give you $500. The person, Qasim said, oh, wow, that's great. So he told Einstein, you go first. Einstein asked, what is the distance from Earth to Moon?
come back with 4. Einstein thought a lot. He put all his science knowledge behind it. Could not figure out what this person was talking about. Put a hand in his pocket and gave him $500. Now Einstein said, before I could ask you the next question, tell me what is the thing that goes on the mountain with 3 legs and comes back with 4? This Indian put a hand in his pocket and gave him $10. Moral of the story is, never get into a Q&A with an Indian where money is involved. We are good at it. To conduct the next session, please help me welcome Toastmaster Kasim, who is going to...
Just help me with this one my time. I would like to conclude in 20 minutes. I'm supposed to be here for 20 minutes. Just one mobile for 20 minutes. Including the speaker. Including the speaker, yes. Toastmaster of the day, good evening to you and all my fellow Toastmasters and guests. This was started by Brother Harsha. Then it was endorsed by Pramod, then Chetna also followed. Then very silently, the last speaker also did it. So it becomes mandatory for me. This segment of the meeting is the most awaited segment, the table topic session. In this session, what we do is, we invite members and guests to come up to the dais and speak on a given topic for 2 to 3 minutes. The objective for this exercise is, it's 1 to 2 minutes. 1 to 2 minutes. Okay. It's 1 to 2 minutes, right? The objective of this session is to promote the 4 prominent skills of communication. 1, listening. 2, thinking. 3, organizing. And 4, delivering. Could you repeat, sir? 1, listening. 2, thinking on the topic. 3, organizing your speech on the topic. And 4 is delivering, speaking. We have an attentive audience. Very good. Thank you, sir. Now today I have a big surprise for you. I am not supposed to give away the topics. You will have to come here, the topic will be given, and you are going to speak impromptu. But I have a surprise, and the surprise is that I will give you a huge clue. A very distinct, huge clue. Now, what the clue is? This clue will let you prepare yourself for the speech much in advance, which has not happened earlier. This is the first time it is going to happen. So please do take advantage of it. Now the clue is, if you ask a small child, a toddler, to tell a story, his story will not have any inhibitions at all. And the story will have the fantasy stretched to its limit, and the imagination will run riot. The same opportunity is granted to you today. You will come up and enjoy your speech for 1 to 2 minutes. Just indulge in fantasy and imagination. Isn't it easy? I made it very easy for you. Right? So now when I call for your participation, I want each one of you to not raise just one hand, but both hands. Stretch yourself, rather jump and touch the ceiling. Because the one who will touch the ceiling will be the most likely person to be called up and deliver the speech. Are we ready? Yes. Only one yes. 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 Wait a second. Let me motivate you.
Yes, yes, yes.
card. When a speaker reaches 1 minute and 30 seconds, I'll be displaying the yellow card. When a speaker reaches 2 minutes, I'll display the red card. The speaker has 30 seconds grace time after the red card is displayed to end the speech in order to qualify for the vote. I'll report qualifying times to the vote.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, for a topic, I will give you a situation, and you have to continue with that situation. Here, you will be exercising the skills. You please listen to the topic attentively, then think about the topic, then organize your speech, and fourth, deliver it. And you have achieved the objectives of today's table topic session. Okay, so I now throw open the invitation. Who's ready to come first? Yes, Abdul, please. Jump.
I'm just going to I saw something in you. I know what it is.
Atul, you have to choose one slip. Just put it up. And give it to me. Atul, your topic is you are coolly swimming in an ocean and you are swallowed by a whale. You are coolly swimming in an ocean and you are swallowed by a whale. Atul.
Thank you. I always dreamt of that. And here it is, dream come true. So I always wonder, when these fishes, they swim in the sea and water, wherever. Whenever they open their mouth, doesn't the water go inside? I mean, have you all wondered? So with that logic, and obviously if I go under the water and open my mouth, obviously the water will go. The same, I'm sure, is the case with the sea animals or the creatures. So, if a whale swallows me, okay, I'm sure I'll still be swimming. Because the logic is the water would go inside, the whale is huge, I would still have some room to swim. So actually he will, and I will not really go directly to his intestine. I'm sure he has got some, which is, I believe, probably as big as a bathroom, maybe, or a toilet. I mean, as big as that. So I will still be floating around and, oh yeah. Recently, I mean, just come into the stomach. I don't know where am I going to get out. But I'll still, I guess, enjoy the swim. And I don't know what other creatures he will swallow. So, yeah, thank you. I thought you did correctly.
Yeah, I'm really serious. Who is next for this? Come on. Yes, please, Moka. You have given your birthday party on Mount Everest. You have given your birthday party on Mount Everest.
I have been a recent enthusiast of tennis, and I started around September last year, and I have had many good outings. But I had never imagined you would give me a topic where I hope morning, I have my friend on the phone of this idea.
saddle, I was thinking about a saddle. So I tried to. Okay, I got on to it. I sat on the saddle and told the butterfly to take me to some place. Show me how beautiful the world is. Show me what it does. Show me how it sits on the flower. How it extracts nectar from it or whatever. I wanted to live a butterfly's life, at least for a day. So there we went. The butterfly took me along with it, showed me what is the beauty of it. And these are the things which we actually never experience or which we take for granted. Like flowers, we just don't see it. We just pass through or whatever. We are not bothered about it. But for a butterfly, it is so important, and that is the only thing it does. So for a change, I was able to live a butterfly's life for a day, and I wish I see more butterflies with saddles, and I'm able to ride like that. So that's it. Thank you.
So who's the next? Is seated. Guest around guest. Your guest. Guest, please, guest. Please come. Sorry, I'm Mudit Right now, in a jungle, you are attending fancy dress animals party. In a jungle, you are attending fancy dress animals party. Mudit
This Sunday afternoon, I was walking down the jungle and I came across a fancy dress party. And it had to be the most hilarious fancy dress party because when I entered, it just didn't make sense. Everyone was cross-dressing and it was really hard to make out which animal was what. And so I went to a sheep, I asked him, who are you actually? Are you a sheep? Are you a wolf? You know, because I need my distance. So I got no proper answer from anyone or any particular animal per se. So all I could do was sit back and observe as to what they were doing and understand what animal were they doing. But the beauty of it was that once I went to this animal fancy dress party in the jungle, I got to understand that there's beauty in diversity. I could see that all the animals were enjoying and celebrating what they really liked about each other or what qualities they possess, despite the fact they were failing miserably. For example, seeing a monkey trying to swim in the water was really funny. So all these instances really told me that even though if you don't fit in the society or even though if you don't understand the other person, all you can do is sit back and try to appreciate what the other person or what the other animal quality possesses. So yeah, that's how it is. That's my take back from a jungle fancy dress party.
We can have one more, please. From the guest. Please come. You come. No lights on. Your name, sir?
remember there was a few munis and those saints they have a power that they can give Ashirwad, they can do this. So this power, I'm very happy that Toastmaster has given me this kind of chocobar that I don't board. So thank you so much. Thank you.
And with this, I now call our role player, Toastmaster Prashant, to please brief us about the timings.
1 minute 48 seconds. Toastmaster Omkar, 1 minute 53 seconds. Toastmaster Asian, Asian, 1 minute 46 seconds. Chinmay, 1 minute 50 seconds. Model, 1 minute 36 seconds. And Surendra, 47 seconds.
Except Surendra, all the other qualifiers. Thank you, Prashant. Now, this is the end of the. No, you have one balance slip, right? You're supposed to. You have your balance slip, in which you please mention who is the winner accordingly. Here is the balance slip. And keep the balance slip with you. With this, I give the charge to Postmaster Rahul once again. He will take you
Let's give a huge round of applause for Toastmaster Kasim. With that, let's have 15 minutes break and come back with this evaluation. We are coming to the last segment of this meeting, which is called General Evaluations segment. Before we get into this particular segment, I'd like to share quickly with you something. Few weeks back, I saw this movie starring by Sunny Deol. And Sunny Deol, after killing 10,000, 20,000 people, we came to the last scene where a villain is actually running in the chopper. Now this chopper is approximately 1,000 feet from the ground. And it has crossed all the heights. So I thought at one point of time Sunny Deol will jump from the ground to the chopper. But then he crossed that limit as also. What he did, he was having a bomb in his hand. And then he threw the bomb below the helicopter and just went and jumped on the block. And the bomb exploded and Sunny Deol was in the helicopter, directly. The bomb exploded. Sunny Deol was next to the villain, the helicopter. Why all these things happens? Because I wonder all these things happen and how do all these things happen? Because in maybe TV serials or maybe in the films, there are no evaluations. And here we have the evaluators who give a spontaneous feedback to the speakers, what they like about the speech, what are the areas for improvement. And that is where it's a heart of the Toastmasters meeting. And today we have someone who is our existing president, Toastmaster Hasnain. Give a huge round of applause for Toastmaster Hasnain.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, for acknowledging my existence. This is the general evaluation section, in which, as the Toastmaster of the Day rightly pointed out, we find out all those things that happened beautifully and some of the things that didn't happen so beautifully. But this is the section where we do our course corrections very easily. For this entire exercise, I have a very capable team consisting of speech evaluators, people who have timed the speeches, people who have counted the number of hours, ums, hers, all those things, and the narrative. So all those combined and some general evaluation from my side will comprise of this entire session. We will begin with the evaluation of the prepared speeches, and to set the ball rolling, we will have Toastmaster Bharat who will evaluate the project one speech delivered by Toastmaster Vikas. Please welcome.
Okay, I want to be the rank Arabian life. School, college, office, ranking. I was ranked on my first day of my office. It was a disgusting feeling. But there is something else. The person who ranked in my office is now one of my best friend. He is my guide in professional life, now been 5 years. In Toastmasters, ranking is called as Project One Speech. Whose purpose is that members should know who you are. So, coming to your speech. In your speech, I know you are a gleeful Gemini Guju. You know, I don't know you are an MBA. I know you have worked in your past. Then, your hobbies. You love traveling, you love dancing. You will give an anecdote, which was totally completely the theme of the session. And that was not it. Icing on cake was the humor. Be it in the first 2 minutes of speech or be it in the anecdote, it was there. And a cherry. Cherry was you share the purpose of joining Toastmasters, which normally people don't share. That's how I want to be, how I start my journey. That's overall something which I felt was good to me. Then what I felt which could be improved, not just a small thing, just a couple of sentences which you spoke too fast, which I missed when I was sitting on that place. That's it. Nothing else. And in the ending, you had a code. So it was that to just 5.5 seconds. It was 6 or 30 seconds. And that was too much for me to digest. In the end, overall, it was बहुत सरस.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bharat. Thank you also for reminding me that I should be informing for the benefit of the guests and all the members also that the speech evaluator has a time limit from between 2 and 3 minutes. Thank you very much. If you have listened carefully, as I'm sure you will have, to Toastmaster Bharat's evaluation of P1 speech, you will observe that there was a lot of commendations and there was one recommendation. This is the method that is followed at Toastmasters. We prepare speeches based on the objectives given in the communicator manual. After hearing that speech, the evaluator prepares a speech for 2 to 3 minutes and delivers that kind of thing. So the next evaluator to come up in front of you will be Toastmaster Bharat, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Harshad's P2 speech.
Thank you, Hossein. Ganpati Bappa Moria. With P1, you introduce yourself, but your actual journey of speeches begins with P2. That is when you say a good beginning in Ganpati Bappa Moria. Harshad, when did you begin your Toastmaster journey? Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to point fingers. Of this example of his son Kshitij. Instead of just preaching about how you don't understand other people's point of view, through nice examples about his son Kshitij, who he keeps on correcting when he points a finger, who he keeps on reprimanding when he wants to go for a movie, who he keeps on telling, no, you're too grown up to watch Cartoon Network. And then finally he realizes that, yes, you have to listen to your children's point of view too. Because you are doing the same thing, you did the same thing when your parents were telling you the same thing when you were a child. Very well organized speech. And he kept our interest, he held our interest throughout the speech. From the beginning to where the penny drops. Regarding recommendations, I don't know how to give a recommendation. I'm lost for words because with such tenacity he holds on to his speeches. After 1 year he is given a P2. You can't really tell a 30-year-old if he says A, B, C, D that no, there are some mistakes. Sorry to be so critical, Akshat, but you are really good over here. Your expressions. I'm not supposed to give you recommendations because it's just a P2 on using the floor, body language, expressions, which were really good. And we don't expect these things to be adhered to while doing a P2, but you did it really well. Of course, no notes used. The only thing I would like to tell you, the excellent speech. Keep on giving such good speech. I heard your T1 also. Complete your CC soon before the penny drops.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bharat. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bharat. It was indeed a very good evaluation. Is that right? Thank you. Toastmaster Udit to evaluate Toastmaster Chetna's P3 speech.
The lion doesn't know it's a lion. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and Chetna. The moment you said that line, I knew you had this project bang on because it said you need to have a general and a specific purpose and your speech had a defined message. I love the confidence with which he started and all of us were hooked because initially the first 10-20 seconds the audience is judging how the speaker is going to be, and once you begin like that, the audience is all hooked and listening to you all ears. The other thing that I liked was the perfect analogy about a lion and your life, and it was not like a couple of or a bunch of stories. She stuck to one analogy and took it through. So I love it. I love the comparison between a jungle lion and a circus lion. Now because your topic talks about a circus lion, I was thinking, okay, perhaps this is where it's going to lead to. But when you introduce the message in between and switch to jungle lion, that's when I knew that this speech has more in store for us. When you were ending the speech and you were saying your final message, do you have a ringmaster? And you see that slide, go between the audience. That is when the audience has clicked to your story and your message and they've bought it. So I love the ending, I love the message. But again, since that message was so important, I did not want your casual approach that you were having throughout the speech because of a story to be given when there was a message involved. So because that message was so important in everybody's life that it would change their whole personality, whole perspective, I wanted you to stand your ground like the lion of the jungle and say, who is your ringmaster? And that would have the people thinking that yes, I need to make sure I don't impress others, but I want to do what I want to do. The other thing was, although I love your conversational side on stage, you were, I think, for about 75% of your speech oscillating on one point here. After Namita's speech, I thought you were interested in somebody. But it turned out that wasn't as lucky. So perhaps, after the, I think you realized from a point of time that you started moving on stage and you started using it, but perhaps you would have realized a little earlier there could have been much more impact. And again, like I said about the title was too long. It was about the once upon a time a lion in the circus. Well, you had to talk about the lion in the jungle also, and perhaps that was the most important lion that we need to be in our lives. And so,
online surveys, quotes from people, again, which adds great value to your speech. So all in all, the project objectives are very well covered.
I would like to commend Toastmaster Namita on today is that she also covered the objectives of the speeches preceding it. So an applause for her. If content can drive a speech, we should look at how we can make it better. The first suggestion that I would like to give you, Toastmaster Namita, is to improve the credibility of your content. And for any message that we try to convey, if you can have a personal anecdote which inspired you to write or share this story, or a testimony from a credible individual who is a propagator of strong body language, that could have added value to the message you are trying to convey. The second suggestion that I would like to give you would be on using props. Now, as speakers, props add value to the message. But in case you could enact a Superman without using a prop, that transition of using the prop is a distraction from the audience. So if the prop, apart from the last one I fed, did not really add value to your speech, so that can be avoided if possible. But Toastmaster Namita, you have an inherent power as a speaker inside you. And with that tenacity and that audacity to execute all such project objectives together and deliver such an enthusiastic speech, you can go a long way, because I'm sure you believe that you have the power.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Pramod. You must, I'm sure, have noticed the way the evaluators are proceeding. They're not evaluating any speaker. They're evaluating the speeches based on the objectives that they were attempting to accomplish. Nothing else. We are lucky today that we have a varied mix of speeches from B1, B2, B3, and as Toastmaster Pramod just reiterated, most of the objectives at least up to B7. So I think the guests will be more familiar with the way this whole program is run. For the next speech, I will call upon Toastmaster Babu to evaluate Toastmaster Sienna's Advanced Communicator Silver 3 speech.
Audience, did you enjoy the prank? Yes. I think that sums up, for me as an evaluator, what kind of a speech it was. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and Toastmasters here. I quite enjoyed this entertaining speech that you delivered today. Who amongst us has not played pranks on others? And who amongst us has not been the subject of a prank? In choosing this subject, the prank, she ticked the very first box as far as the speech objectives were concerned. In that, she chose a topic which related very well with an audience group like this. She went on to narrate a personal experience, which was the second objective of this speech, of this project, where you had to give a personal touch to the speech. And she very vividly brought this out with the experience of the pranks that she used to play with her friends. The April Fool pranks and going on to the prank with the mobile. It was a very light-hearted subject, which is what the project required. In fact, I appreciated the fact that she was able to balance the project objectives. In fact, it says clearly, do not indulge in a deep understanding for the audience. Do not tax their brains. But at the same time, give them a pleasant diversion. And I think you sort of married these two very well. And at the end, there was a twist to the tale, where she, having been the butt of all the pranks all the time, decided to play one on her friend, and it sort of backfired when she said that I won the prank, but I think I lost a friend. A lot of good things about the speech, other than the project objectives. Good stage coverage, very good. Body language, very good voice modulation, the use of when you spoke on the phone. Clear and loud, I'm sure the back rows heard her very well. And a expressed the fact that she was giving an entertaining speech. Having said all of this, I think a project speech at this level required a little more of imagery, a little more of metaphors. When you said that I saw after a long pause, I saw my friend sobbing, I think you should use a little more fancy words like there was a pregnant pause and I saw my friend break into tears. You could probably make it a little more colorful. And then when you said I won the prank and lost a friend, you could have added that I won the battle and lost the war, to make it a little more impactful. But I think overall, the speech was definitely thoroughly enjoyable, very entertaining, and most of all, I like the frankness in you. When you said at some point of time, I'm generally made a fool, but this time I decided that I will pay it back. And I think this frankness has been there throughout your speeches, and I'm sure that you will continue in the same way for all future speeches. All the best to you.
Master Babu, yes, there was a twist in the tale. There is also a twist in the tale here. Unknown to most of you, there was a prepared speaker who delivered a prepared speech. Advanced Communicator Bronze, Advanced Level Manual. He delivered a speech entitled Introduce the Speaker. That person was Toastmaster Rahul Gulekar. And to evaluate his prepared speech, which he sprung upon you, unknown to you, is Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Arvind.
Thank you, General Evaluator. You really sprung a surprise on me. I never knew I would come here and stand and do this. That's not economy of enough. Is that tit for tat? It is. Okay. The project objectives were that the speaker has to understand the person who's going to come forward to speak. He had to introduce him in a manner that the audience would get to know him better. I found that the speaker did, up to a certain extent, help the audience to understand the speaker. I would have loved a little more as far as the project is concerned. There were various objectives that were there in the project, and that's why we recommend that you read the manual before you attempt your project. Sit with your mentor, understand what it is, and see whether you will perform or deliver it in the way that it is expected of you. I wish the speaker would have paid a little more attention, because there were little qualifications and stuff like that that were required. And here I didn't see all that. You don't necessarily have to mention an educational qualification, but you could have mentioned a Toastmaster qualification within, because you are introducing a Toastmaster who's going to evaluate or who's going to give a speech. You could have added something more rather than just talking about the will. Just the will. A little more, they could have enhanced it. The audience wouldn't know, but they would have got more information, and I, as an evaluator, would have been happy, because I then know that you are doing as per the audience. But I should say one thing. I love the way you conducted the whole program today, the meeting today. Your anecdotes were wonderful. It added a lot of information for me, and it was very entertaining. Well done, and I've seen you grow, and I'm very happy with all the progress that I see. All the very best.
There is an unwritten law in Toastmasters which I think Toastmaster Arvind is not aware of. When you have a distinguished Toastmaster in your midst, call him, ask him to speak, take the benefit of his presence. One more round of I now call upon the timer, Toastmaster Prashant, give us the time to be evaluated. Toastmaster.
Udit, 3 minutes 9 seconds. Toastmaster Pramod, 3 minutes 21 seconds. And Toastmaster Babu, 3 minutes 34 seconds.
I think
Thank you very much.
I think there was something with the cards because I think I finished a couple of seconds after the red card was raised.
That's okay.
Thank you very much.
It's raised after
So, you have that ballot form with you. You will first also have to reconsider your vote for the best debate speaker to include Toastmaster Rahul Kulekar in your considerations because he has qualified for your vote. From amongst the evaluators, Toastmaster Bharat, Toastmaster Udit, Toastmaster Pramod have qualified to get your vote for the best evaluator for this evening. That's the third row on this ballot. I would now like to call upon the AHA counter to give this report. Toastmaster Venkat.
Since I said that is my duty to do, so I have taken note of all the speakers. I will start with presiding officer. He used 2 hours, 1 repetition, 7 so, 1 and, so total of 11. Rahul, the Toastmaster of the day, 3 repetitions, 4 so, 2 and, so 10. Table topic master, Toastmaster Kasim, 1 long pause, 1 okay, 1 so 3. General evaluator, Hasnain, so far, 3 hours, 1 so, 1 and. The prepared speech, Toastmaster Yuvraj, 6 hours, 2 repetitions, 1 okay, 2 so, 3 and, 3 you know, and 2 well. So 19. Toastmaster Harshad, 2 long pauses, 1 repetition, 2 so's, total 5. Toastmaster Chetna, 4 hours, 3 long pauses, 3 repetitions, 7 so's, 4 and 2 you know, so 24. Toastmaster Namita, 4 hours, 1 long pause, 3 repetitions, 2 so's, 9. Toastmaster Siana, 2 hours, 3 repetitions, 1 okay, and 3 so's, total 10. Evaluators, Toastmaster Parak, 1 hour, 2 long pauses, 1 repetition, 1 okay, 1 so, 2 you know, total 8. Toastmaster Parag, 1 hour, 1 long pause, 1 repetition, total 3. Toastmaster Udit, 1 hour, 1 long pause, 2 repetitions, 2 so, 1 you know, total 7. And 1 flawless speaker, Toastmaster Pramod. Then Toastmaster Babu, 1 hour, 4 repetitions, and 7 times I think. So total 12. Table topic, Toastmaster Atul, 1 hour, 1 long pause, 2 repetitions, 1 okay, 4 so's, and 1 and, total 10. Toastmaster Omkar, 6 long pauses, 1 repetition, 2 so, 3 and, total 12. Asian, 2 long pauses, 1 repetition, total 3. Chinmay, 1 hour, 1 long pause, 5 repetitions, 1 okay, 3 so, 2 and, 1 you know, total 10. Toastmaster Surendra, 1 hour, 2 repetitions, 1 so, total 4. Toastmaster Arvind, 2 hours, 1 repetition, 1 okay, total 4. Thank you very much.
He has the power. The rebellion, Sachin sir. It was really a tough job to identify some grammatical mistakes, and it was my first attempt. The good uses of words which I found during the entire meeting, like professor added fuel to fire. That was really nice. Crack point to jack point. Yeah. I took as a gospel truth. Winners put extra effort even if it hurts. It does pack a punch. That was really good usage. Lightning strike and complete your CC soon before penny drops. That was also a nice punch. There were quote uses like a journey of thousand miles begin with a single step. And one more, like be a change that we wanted to see in others. That was really nice. The usage, the bad usage of words, all the speakers were flawless. But one of our colleagues said, one of my friends, instead of one of my friend. Psychologist analyzing, instead of it could be a psychologist analyzing. And the word of the day used by Siana, Parag, and Pramod has used twice. Just a correction here. You must have slipped out inadvertently, but one of my friends is correct. Sorry, must have slipped out, I'm sure. So, a few general observations of mine now. And normally we start off by praising how it started on time and how the standing was in place on the board. But this is Bombay Toastmasters, where these things are. So we move beyond the mundane and go into some of the things that matter to me. Today I noticed that first impressions were good. The guests all greeted warmly, and I defy anybody to challenge that. I seriously saw that the guests were greeted warmly, and then they were introduced to other Toastmasters. They were made to feel comfortable. Whether they did or not is another matter. One thing I like about the board was what? Parag's handiwork. And I love the connection that happened between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, with the elephant god and the lion of the jungle. So lots of connections. There is preparation pre-meeting, there's a lot of work during the meeting, there's a lot of work after the meeting. Pre-meeting, something very wonderful happened this week. A Toastmaster, a tool, devised a tool to ease the burdens on the Vice President Education, which is most welcome because Vice President Education has a very unenviable job. All the help can come, must come. There are some beliefs that bind us to the tenacity that defies comprehension. One of these is that there is a hierarchy in Toastmasters roles, and that there are some roles which are more important than others. Today, the President and the Vice President Education took a big leap forward to bust that myth. They swapped. And this, I believe, is going to be a practice going forward so that the entire team and most of us get a chance to experience firsthand the learnings that come from doing all the other roles. The president was the sergeant at arms. Officially, in the hierarchy, the president is at the top and the sergeant at arms is the bottom at the 6-member list. 7-member list. team. Three members were inducted, the promise was delivered, the promise I hope will be kept. And not only by the members that were inducted, but by all of us who stood and reiterated our commitment to the new members. It would be nice if one of the 10 promises were singled out on every meeting and the philosophy behind that explained and how we can keep that promise by fulfilling our goals to our objectives. That I think can be looked into. The TMOD did a fantastic job. He familiarized the audience with the flow of the meeting. The timer deserves special commendation because he took up the role of the timer at almost the last minute. And this is what Toastmasters is all about. You must take all the opportunities that are coming your way. This helps you develop your confidence. If you heard the mission of the Toastmasters, the club mission, the mission is for us to be able to get, growing by growing our confidence. Every other area, and public speaking is one of the roots to that. So, special thank you to you. As it has been quoted very often, I'll quote it again. Our founder, Rajesh Bentley, has most fittingly said that the best learnings come from moments of enjoyment. Tabletopix Master gave us many moments of enjoyment, and I thank him also for that. All in all, I think this was one of the best meetings I've attended at Bombay Toastmasters because of all the learnings and positivity that came from it. So, congratulations to all of you involved.
Please give a huge round of applause. I'd like to end up with a story that happened in front of my eyes, which actually changed the way I started seeing the world. And there was a colleague of mine who was actually in my school, and he was he was a polio kid, and he was representing our school in national march. Can you believe this? A polio kid representing the school in the national march. He was not fighting people who are disabled, but he was fighting people with 2 legs. And when he was asked, how did you do this? He said, initially it was difficult. But later on, because of his polio, he used to swing his leg 180 degrees and slap the person on his face with the people with normal legs could not do it. And that was the biggest learning for me. People who have to achieve in life, they achieve it in spite of problems, not in absence of. And it is rightly said, when there is a will, there is a will. I would like to hand it over to the presiding officer, Toastmaster.
So we have one more thing we will done by the audience. This big three. Can you please vote for the best of 3, that is Toastmaster of the Day, Rahul, General Evaluator, and Tabletopix Master, Das. Just vote for one of the 3 whom you like most, and who are the tally counters who are correct in the ballot. While the ballots are being collected, can I invite some guests to speak?
really, great thing about Japan, but actually, so I'm only learning about my own country. That's it. I really enjoyed every single speech, and I hope to see you again, I guess, in 2 weeks. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
So that story is from a temple named Diabursu. It's a place in there is a Buddha shrine which happened there. Okay, can I invite some more guests? Yeah.
Good evening everyone, my name is all the class students of Information Technology, and I've been struggling with the public speaking all my life. I've been the guy who goes forward and does things and always taking a back seat and never expressing myself. So I was anyway thinking about joining a public speaking class, a coaching class or official class or something. And then while reading a blog, I read about Toastmasters over there. The blogger, he mentioned that people who want to go to public speaking can check this out. So I go to the website and found out the place. And it's been a wonderful experience past to us over there. And the best thing is we have a structure going on around here. And the table topics. So the structure is what I think is the best part right now. And hope to learn a lot from everyone here. And thank you for this, coming together like this and doing this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening to all of you. I'm Nikhil Shah. I am already 28 years younger, but by having attended this energetic, lively, interesting, I feel that I will become more young. And I intend to join this chapter.
Good evening, I'm Ajit. So I had a wonderful experience past 2 hours. So I hope I'll join your club very soon. So yeah.
Why not today?
Yeah, today itself.
Hello guys, my name is Karan. I was just searching for something to increase my public speaking skills, communication skills. So I searched on internet and Goa is the best place to find answers. So I found my answers on Goa, like he suggested Toastmaster to join. Like he said it's a great place to develop such skills. So I searched the website and found this one. So it was really as I expected. I watched the video on Toastmasters website and it was great and motivated me to join this, come in and at least enjoy at least one session.
We still need some more time. Counting is going on. Anybody else wants to share something? Yeah, so we have a few announcements to make.
Even the district conference shooting.
Yeah. So, yeah, there are two announcements. One is about fees.
Membership renewals also.
Renewals, yeah. So, please, yeah, many of us have already paid and still other members have to pay. So, please pay by 20th of September. Okay. Because September is up to the last day, pay by 20th so that we can have all the data uploaded on Toastmasters International much ahead of time.
There is a change. There is now no longer any grace period. There used to be a grace period.
So make it 15, not 20.
I think it is better to have it.
By tomorrow maybe.
So better wait members who won at the club level contest, they are going to represent club, our Bombay Toastmasters club in the area level. And in areas, we belong to area A3. In area 3, we have 3 clubs, so there will be 4. So we have 4 clubs, sorry about that. From each club, there will be 2 representatives in humorous speech as well as speech evaluation contest. And at the same time, we have another area participating with us, that is B3, B2. B2, B4. B4, yeah, B4. So the contest timing is 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay. So please make sure that you all are on time on 18th September in Barclays Toastmasters Club, Elgon Knowledge Park, Goregaon East.
There is a registration.
Yes, and Toastmasters has always sent email to everybody, so please register on Mera event. The fee is 100 rupees for snacks.
Inclusive of breakfast.
Yeah,
It's going to be a sumptuous breakfast, so please don't miss it. Come early.
Sumptuous breakfast. Just 100 rupees.
Can you share the menu?
There will be tea as well. Tea and business.
Tea and business.
Can we know the menu, please?
It's secret, yeah, it's confidential. So people who win at the area contest, 2 members from each area will represent that area in the division level contest. And we have division level contest on 1st October. The venue has not been finalized yet, that will be finalized and communicated to you. People who win at division levels, they will represent division in the district level conference, which is scheduled on 21st, 22nd and 23rd October in Goa. Okay, so if you want to register, some new members are not aware of that, so please register for district conference. You can get the details on District 98 website. I'm sure all the new members have got all the links from our Toastmaster Harsha, who is the VP Ria. There's all the social media links are given to you, so please register if you want to participate in district conference. There will be lots of learning and sharing, and I'm sure you'll have great fun there. Okay, so now we got the results. Okay, so big 3, we have Toastmaster Rahul. Table topic speaker, we have Asian. Speech evaluator, Muhammad Ali.
You're making it a habit.
Thank you. Breaking the campaign. Not allowed. And debate speaker, Toastmaster, Chandivali to China, Naveen.
That book will help you go back to standing league.
No other announcement will be made, right? Please apply for roles. We have the next meeting on 24th of September at the same place, same time. And I declare the meeting number 207 closed.